Here's a Weedeater XT260 that just came in. Now the guy says it will only run on a choke, so when you get one of these and you have a problem like that, the first thing you can do is remove the gas to see if there's any water in it. So what you do is get a clear container or a glass jar, pour the fuel in. Now this fuel here doesn't have any water in it because you would see pockets of water if that was the case, but there is a bit of dirt in there and the fuel does smell stale, so I'm going to get rid of that, put fresh fuel in it, and then go from there. Now if you have the same fuel in your machine from last fall, you're better off to empty it out anyways and put some fresh fuel in there. I mix my fuel at 40:1. It's a little richer than 50:1. Another basic thing that everybody can do is check the spark plug. So this one here has got a bit of carbon on it. It's not too bad, it's brown, it's a good color. So I'm just going to clean it up on the wire brush and then put it back in. Also check for spark, but just by putting the plug into the cap, grounding your plug tool onto the engine, and then the plug onto the tool, and just pull it over. There's good spark on this plug, so I'm just going to put it back in. So now I'll take it outside, try it out, see what happens. If it won't run right, first of all I'm going to try adjusting the carburetor with this special tool. It's got a splined tip here because the adjusting screws on this carburetor back here are splined, they're not slotted screws. So the way to adjust these carburetors is basically like any other carburetor I've showed you in the past on these Weedeaters, is that the high screws here, low screws there. You adjust this screw here at high speeds, revving your machine up. This one here you adjust it when it's idling, and if it runs too lean you can turn it out a bit, the low screw. It will give more fuel to the machine. I have a feeling that's what the problem is, because often they come from the factory. They're preset, and depending on your altitude of where you live, it can affect it. So sometimes they just need a bit of tweaking and they're fine. So because it won't even go past what you've just seen, I'm going to turn out the L screw about a quarter turn for now and try it again. I'll turn out the high screw a bit. So it seems to run good now. So what I did is I turned out the H screw mostly, and I just adjusted the L screw when it was idling. And this little screw right here is when you're all done adjusting the carb, you turn it in if you want it to idle faster and turn it out if you want it to idle slower. So oftentimes you buy these and you have to readjust the carburetors on them. And it's always good to let it cool down for a couple hours, then start it up again and see if it runs right. If you have problems after it's cooled down and you go to start it up again, you may have to tear open the carburetor and see if it's clean in there. So I started it up a bit later and it runs good. Another tip too is check your fuel tank to make sure the filter didn't fall off the line, because it does happen on these. The lines are a bit cheap. And check everything else. If all else fails, take the carb apart and clean it, and it should be running as good as